Blessings, blessings, blessings. How we doing, family? How we doing? Back like we never left. Back like we never left. Let me put in my headphones. Back like we never left. I feel like I haven't gotten in a proper. I feel like I haven't gotten in a proper live with y'all. I really missed y'all. So now we back. There she is. Hey, hey. Peace, peace.
I'm dressed like this because I feel like I'm still in winter. How are you, Astro?
Yo, blessings. There she is. Carrie's in the building. How we
Hello,
doing?
everybody. Hey.
Yes, yes. Good to see you.
You too.
How's
Been a
life?
minute.
How's everything been with you over there? With the fires. Or so they say.
Personally, I am unaffected. The only thing I notice daily, obviously, is the skies that they're constantly spraying and trying to mask or hide something. But the fires, I don't even want to get into that conversation because I'm like, come on, you guys, critical thinking here.
Yeah.
Like it just, none of it makes sense. So I haven't really, to be honest, paid full attention to it because it just doesn't make sense, and I'm not buying into BS. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Exactly. We're not subscribing.
No, we're not.
No.
Like, really? Come on. We're in 2023. We're not falling for the okie doke. We're just not doing it.
Exactly. So
How have you been?
I've been great. Life's been good.
How's
I'm back.
California?
Yeah, back in Cali now. So it feels good to be back here. This is like my second home. So
Hey.
yeah, it feels like refreshing. Like, yeah. It's when I first came back out here though, I thought that I moved back out to Seattle because it's really like it's been overcast, clouds everywhere. But lately the sun's been out, but it's been super windy and like chilly. So it's like, yeah, it's definitely a different type of LA.
That's very
But
interesting because now it's supposed to be like sweltering, right?
exactly, it usually is, and now it's starting to get, you can feel the heat, like it's gonna be 80 all week. It's like, but it's like the wind is still, I don't know, like blowing really hard. Like if I open my window, it's still kind of chilly.
I feel the
Uh,
same. I feel it
yeah.
feels the same here. We're in summer, and summer in Toronto usually it's hot. Like it's when everybody fluctuates and gravitates to Toronto because it's hot. There's tons of summer things to do where clothes is optional because it's that hot.
Right.
But I'm slightly exaggerating, you guys. But it's hot, and I'm literally in jackets, long pants, and this is not like a gimmick. It's cold right now.
Wow.
And I have my window slightly ajarred, and I'm still feeling it's breezy. But if you stand underneath the sun, you're cooking, right? And then when you move under a cloud, you feel like it's winter. So I'm like, y'all, with this geoengineering, you need to stop because you're
Yeah.
fluctuating and affecting the magnetosphere, and we're being affected by this. So
Exactly. And during the day, it's like, lately it's been like, high 70s, low 80s. But
yeah,
then like as soon as the sun leaves this area, like the chill that comes in, it's not like the usual type of cold.
yeah,
It bypasses your skin and goes straight to your bone.
yes,
It's like bone chilling.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. It's unnatural. You know,
Yeah.
it's very unnatural. So it's interesting to hear that that's also happening there. And before you left, Was it also the same type of weather in Chicago?
Detroit.
Detroit. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. It was I would say it was still kind of chilly there,
Mm-hmm.
but it was balanced out though. Like I like the reason I like Michigan so much is because you do get like you experience all the four seasons there,
Okay.
like fully. But you know, but here in Cali, it's like always either like summer or spring. Sometimes you might get autumn. Um, but yeah, I mean, even out there, it's you know, it's considered Midwest, and
Mm-hmm.
we had like a train wreck in Michigan, not
Mm-hmm.
like 30 minutes away from where I was living. So you know, it's the conditions out there are still. My mom, you know, I was talking to her earlier in our group
Mm-hmm.
chat. She was saying that she couldn't breathe. You know,
Really?
like yeah, in Michigan right now. So the air quality out there is horrible.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
So yeah, I just pulled a card. It's the psycho movement card, but it's in reverse. So this means like we are going through some like negative cycles right now.
mm-hmm.
And this makes sense because we have Saturn retrograde in Pisces, and we also have Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. So
Mm-hmm.
you can like see almost like there's a calendar for you know the ambiguous day with the stunts that they like to pull every year, and like you just look down at your clock, you're like, yeah, yeah, it's the BS, yeah, they back
Yep.
on it,
Yeah.
you
You know
know.
what I started to do? I started
Mm-hmm,
to go back
mm-hmm,
20 to 50 years, you know, and see around, I add up like the year 2020, year of the seven, and I go back
mm-hmm,
to whenever it was the year of the seven
mm-hmm.
and see what was happening. And it's quite interesting. And also because we're like in the Pluto phase right now, Pluto in
Yeah,
Aquarius, I went back to all of the stages to which, you know, held Pluto in Aquarius. And I'm like, interesting. Things will shift
yeah,
massively.
mm-hmm,
And it will look and feel really unpleasant. We're going to see a lot of violence and all of that. But in the end, it's going to work out to be a really good thing for us. We
mm-hmm.
just got to stick it out.
Yeah, you know, I know you can feel it coming. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's like that tension, you know, like you can
Yeah.
feel it in the air.
Yeah.
You can feel it everywhere around here. So you know, I don't know when, you know, things are going to go down or whatever, but I definitely know that we are headed into something. I mean, you can just kind of see like the field being played out, like with the
Yeah.
cattle. Actually, before we get deep, let me get this little intro. You know how we let me take it old school for a second. All right, so come on, guys. I want you to close your eyes. Let's start off with something. I want you to close your eyes and think of one thing that you're grateful for. Think of one thing that you're grateful for. Hold it in your mind. All right. Take a deep breath in, release. Now, think of one thing that you are manifesting. Hold it. Take a deep breath in, release. Now, give gratitude for the thing that you are manifesting already coming into fruition in your reality. Hold it. Pause for gratitude. Breathe in, release. Ashe. All right. So the next thing is, can I do this? Let me see. I wanted to see if I could show something on here, but I probably can't. But I can just tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I told you guys before on how to germinate a seed. It's going to be really important in the near future. So I just want to reiterate the importance of learning how to germinate a seed. And here's what you can do. Thank you, KB. Here's what you can do, right? Get you a seed,
Yeah.
get you a napkin or a paper towel, wet the paper towel, right? Put the seed in the paper towel, right? Fold it over, put it in a Ziploc bag, You can sit it on your windowsill. I want to say for, you can check back like every 2 days, but you want to get it to the point where there's like a white root that's coming out of it. And when you see the root, you want to go ahead and put it in the soil. Now, that's one way that you can do it there. The other way that you can do it is just put it straight in the pot and just let Mother Nature do her thing. Um, but if you want to, I guess, assist the seed in growing, then you can, wait till that white seed comes out and do it. And that goes for all seeds. So whatever seeds you want to grow, choose wisely. And I would implore you to get organic seeds. Get organic seeds from Sprouts, Whole Foods, and any other place possible. If you have to, you can get them from Amazon. I think sometimes Amazon sells them in like bulk, like packs. So if you're going to use Amazon for something, besides the important stuff, get you some seeds and get the seeds before everybody's trying to get the seeds. You feel me? Before people start hiking up the price. And I want to end this intro with a message. Whatever you want to do, there is a way to achieve it that is uniquely tailored for your mission here, right? So you can look up how other people have achieved their success. That's cool. But just know that there is a path that is meant for you that nobody else has taken before. So if intuition has led you there, stay consistent until it is your reality. All right. So staying in alignment is the assignment. Let me repeat that. Staying in alignment is the assignment. Okay. Cool. So what's our topics today, Carrie?
I love them. I love them. I love them so much. And I also wanted to throw something at you. I don't know if you heard about the new law that's happening here with the natural, because you're in the natural herbs and, supplements arena. Here, they're trying to eliminate that. So I want to talk to you about that. So yeah, and it's federal. It went into law a couple of days ago.
Whoa.
So are you ready for the artificial intelligence takeover? Who's ready for that? And what is it? Would you practice or participate in universal basic income? What they're trying to groom us all for. Are we still, and the third one, are we still in the same dimension and timeline? This one, can we talk about this one first? Because
yes.
Astro. I don't know. Okay, so last week, I literally went through, I woke up and I was speaking to my cousin, and I was like, I don't feel the same. I don't know. I feel like I woke up in a different place. Like, I know I'm talking to you. I know, but something doesn't feel right. Like, I don't feel the same. What the frack? And this was last week. So if anybody else has experienced this, please let us know in the chat.
No, I'm so glad you said that, because I feel the exact same. Like, I've been looking around and I'm trying to get used to like the new reality. Like, it feels, everything feels different. Like I feel shorter. Like, I feel shorter. Like,
I feel you. I know exactly what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah. I look around and I'm like, did I get shorter, or are people growing taller? Like, cause I look at my ID, I'm like, this is my height, but I don't feel like this height. And I heard a bird that I haven't heard since I was like in my teens. And I thought that I was in other dimensions when I heard the bird, but now I've been hearing the bird again. I'm like, my world is turned upside down because I have not heard that bird. And I even heard people on TikTok in the comments on some people's videos, like, where is that bird gone? And I'm like, shit, I'm not the only one. And now I'm hearing the bird again. And I'm like, bruh, something's changed. Like, this is not the same reality. It's not. And let's not even negate the fact that like Mandela effects is actually a thing.
Yeah.
So like everybody, well, not everybody, but I know a lot of people in my personal reality that have acknowledged Mandela effect. So,
same. Yeah.
there's, so it's like, okay, a consistency, can say like something about our reality is not the same,
Yeah.
So I don't think it's far-fetched to say that when you're looking around right now, you feel like you're in a different reality. Because I'm telling you, like, I feel like 2 inches done been, chopped off of my height. Like, for real, for real. I don't know how to deal with it.
You're like, yeah, couldn't have given me a warning.
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
damn.
bizarre. It's really bizarre. And how about like body pains and like weird sensations? Have you experiencing that?
Right here, like,
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
used to have, I always had like a problem. I don't know if it's like a cancer thing because cancer deals with the chest, but I always have like chest like problems. But lately I've been feeling like there's just like something growing right there. I'm like, is my body
I
changing?
know I mentioned this to you, Jade.
Yeah.
Yes, it feels like a round disc, doesn't it?
Mm. I don't know about it. It just feels like something like pulsing, like, but it's not only here, it's like other part, like the ringing in my
Yes,
ears happening more often, like other,
yes,
I'm just
yes.
like, okay, it has to be it, okay. I saw the other day like the Schumann resonance was doing
The,
like the
yeah.
shapes, like the geometric shapes,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and the lady that was on the video was saying that this has never been done before.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, obviously, there's our reality is shifting.
Right.
If this is taking place, and our resonance is 7.83. So is that our resonance anymore, or are we changing? Is the Earth like literally
You
changing?
know
You know?
what I'm thinking about?
Mm-hmm.
Was that even our resonance? Because we have been entrapped in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So our since we're moving back to the balance, the celestial balance,
Mm-hmm.
so we have to. It's like whatever is moving us back is shifting things within
Yeah.
us, waking us up. And obviously, the controllers knew this was coming.
Mm-hmm.
So they were trying desperately to stop our DNA, like put things in place to block, like blockers,
Mm-hmm.
because like there's, what do they have? They have like blocks on our telomeres.
Yeah.
So, right? So they were
I
trying,
saw. I don't know too much about that. I saw Billy Carson talking about it, but I
yeah.
haven't done like any research on it or anything. But I thought it was pretty interesting. I was like, what is this about this telomere cap? I also saw Dr. Joe Espinoza talking about it as well, the telomere cap. So I'm like,
Yeah.
there's something to that.
Right? And then you remember when the Queen's Jubilee, they did that push down and then the extra strand in their DNA,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like somehow they wanted to stop this, but this we're feeling in our body like something is happening naturally
Mm-hmm.
that is supposed to happen. So I'm here for it. Like it feels
Yeah.
uncomfortable at times. It feels like we're in a different world, but I'm like, it's okay. I'm ready. I'm ready.
You know what? But I think it has everything to do with our DNA.
Yeah.
I think for this whole past like 3 years plus, like actually probably our entire existence,
Yeah.
probably this entire simulation anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
has
Yeah.
to do with our DNA,
Yeah.
right? Because if they're still saying, quote unquote, that they can't, understand 95% of our DNA, just like they say that only 5% of the ocean is explored or whatever, then that means that that's like potential. When you see like people doing, like 20 backflips and then hit a flip off a freaking whatever, and like they're just like literally flying through the air. I'm
Yeah.
like, our DNA is upgrading because you can see like the physicality is changing. Like even when you like the amount of thinking that you're able to do, like the amount of like now you're able to think about something, and then we were talking about this the other day on Patreon, how you can think about something and have it show up in your reality immediately, and it's
Yes.
dangerous now
Yes.
because I'm telling you, like you think about something for like 2 or 3 minutes, not only if it's going to show up in your phone with an ad, but it's also going to show
in
up,
your,
you know.
yeah, in your reality.
Yeah, yeah,
So we
exactly.
have to be very mindful of what we are creating, because our co-creating process is at a high time high. So if you
Mm-hmm.
are thinking negative thoughts, you're going to create that like that. They're thinking positive thoughts, boom,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
and mind training during this time is
Mm,
really important, you know, like
yeah.
really, really having control of where your thoughts is going. No random, uncontrolled thoughts right now at all. And
Mm-hmm.
being very cognizant of the information that you're taking in, the
Mm-hmm.
mediums that you're watching your information from. Who
Mm-hmm.
are they? What is their agenda? What are they trying to, you know, for lack of better words, what are they trying to implant in your brain? What are
Yeah.
they trying to influence over you? Are
Mm-hmm.
you in control or are they?
Mm.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Yeah, I have this thing to where if I'm following you and I see, you know, like three things that disturb my soul, I unfollow you.
Yeah.
Miss Jazzy B, blessings. Um, because it's like you're choosing to see this person's thoughts every day, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, some actually now it's like I'm a little cutthroat. It's like if I see two things, like even if one thing's bad enough, you know, because it's like, okay, this is how this person thinks, and I'm choosing to subscribe to their thoughts because that's what Twitter is. You're just subscribing to people's thoughts,
Yeah.
like to their head, really, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like just how you, the five people that you hang around, you know, you'll be the accumulation of whatever they are,
Yeah.
you know, collectively. Then it's the same thing with people that you follow, you know. So you have to make sure that you watch what you eat, you know, what you're listening to, who you're
Mm-hmm.
following, you know, what you're eating, like all of that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because if your body is your temple and you're treating it that way, like, yeah, like as soon as I log in, you know, after I do my rising routine, when I
Yeah.
log in, it's like I don't want to see, you know, just like
Yeah.
filth, garbage, and
Yeah.
oh, let me take off the garbage, let me unfollow, you know, like,
Yep. Yep. But that's like that's so good of you to be so aware
yeah,
and to be so clear
mhm,
about what it is that you are willing to accept into your personal universe, because
yeah,
we act like we're not in
yeah,
control of what
yeah,
we take in and what we put out. Input
mhm,
and output, we are in control of that. No
mhm.
one else is. We may be given the illusion that someone else is influencing you and it's in your subconscious. At the end of the day, you can choose to subscribe or unsubscribe. So I love
Exactly.
that.
Listen, that's a whole mood.
Mm-hmm.
Unsubscribing for peace, you know, for your peace.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like it's no love lost or anything, you know. Even it can be, listen, it can be my uncle, it can be whoever. It's
Yeah.
like I see you at the family reunion or whatever, but
Yeah.
you know, your mindset is not in alignment with how I want to view my reality every day. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's just being aware, you know. Because I love, I'm telling you, like sometimes I just see some posts. If I'm having whatever type of day, I might just see a post and I'm just like, wow, that post just really like switched up my whole mood, or like
Yeah.
I might, you know, switched up the way that I'm perceiving like the situation or
Yeah.
something. So following the right people can really help to level you up, like you know, for real.
So
So
true.
that's important. Yeah.
So true.
So the first topic is: are you ready for the artificial intelligence takeover? Before we get started, let me turn off my VPN. 1 second. Okay, so the artificial intelligence takeover.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's we're at the point now to where you can't even say like, "Are y'all ready?" because it's coming, because it's already here, y'all. Like uh, at every level, they're integrating AI. I just saw the other day that I was watching Earn Your Leisure, Monday Market,
Yeah.
and they were saying that, or Market Mondays, and they were saying that um, Mercedes-Benz is now in the beta stage with implementing ChatGPT in the Mercedes-Benz, and I'm just like, wow, like now it's going to be like, I can just imagine, Apple dropping their own version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, Siri is what that is, but like Siri on steroids, you know what I mean? Like Alexa on steroids for Google. And
So you mean Apple just flicking the switch because it's already they're already activated. And this is the thing where I see they're like, oh, AI is doing this and AI, be aware.
yeah,
Like, stop with the fear mongering. You guys are behind AI.
yeah,
It's already implemented. You're just waiting for people to be terrified enough and buy into your narrative that you can unleash what you already created. That's it.
yeah.
It's already done. As you said, it's done. The stage is set.
Mm-hmm. And listen, it's sometimes it's tempting, right? Because I feel like how you start off is how you're going to maintain. And like right now, I'm holding my own. I'm like, you know what? I don't need ChatGPT to type anything for me, to do anything for me. Like I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I'm capable. I'm to do all of
Yeah.
that. Even when I'm driving, and if I know the way to somewhere and AI is telling me to go one way, it's like, nah, bro, I know the shortcut. Like I'll take my way. So it's like,
yeah.
yeah.
Turn it off. And that's another thing, because if they shut off the satellite, which helps to guide us through the grid, majority of the population, they're screwed. They're screwed. They have no idea where to go, how to navigate to anywhere, because they've become so dependent on this AI feature in their vehicle or on their phone. And it's a high probability with all these solar flares and the what it's doing and how it's knocking out our ability to tap into the source that helps us to connect globally.
Yeah.
Are you prepared? like like the hood healer always says, right? Are you prepared for Jehovah's return?
Listen, I'm saying, because they're telling you low key, high key, like, hey guys, be prepared for a blackout. Hey guys, we just gave these senators satellite phones. Hey guys, like they're telling you in little subtle ways, but really loudly, to like get your shit together, because like something's about to go down. So like, but continuing with the theme with AI, you can see how these two things are correlating, because next month you have FedNow, right? FedNow that's launching in July. Okay, boom. So FedNow is going to be, the dollar is going digital. Biden just announced the dollar is going digital.
Yeah.
Okay. So now the dollar is really not going to be backed by anything but ones and zeros. It doesn't exist. Okay. So AI, that system is going to be a way for, like, it's going to be universal basic income for us. That's going to be a way for them to implement universal basic income, but that's also going to be a way to thinking long term, to bring in AI citizens, because when you bring in AI citizens, they're going to need a way to buy and sell as well. So they're going to have their digital currency, and they're going to be like, like everyday citizens like we have right now, just a few, and you can see how fast they're progressing.
Wait,
so just
can you expand on that?
Yeah.
What do you?
So you have, what's her name? So first you started off with the AI bot, and I think it was Saudi Arabia. And then you moved over to the AI Bill of Rights. I made a video about this in 2017, and
You saw it.
and like, I'm telling you, like, they came out with the AI Bill of Rights. Next is going to be, people are going to start to vandalize, these AI bots.
which they
And
are. That woman
exactly,
in Asia.
exactly. That's going to bring in the sympathy factor from the citizens. People are going to be like, "Oh my
Oh,
God, they're wait a minute, they have feelings," and they're going to get news clips of AI bots saying, "We just want to, we're sentient and we can feel, we can think," and because they started off with the Googles, with that whole psyop of
yeah,
them
yeah,
firing this person from Google
yeah,
saying that the Google is sentient.
yeah,
And now you have like these little glimpses of videos coming out saying like, wow, like artificial intelligence is really talking to me like they have a full personality and like all these attributes, and it's forming into like a way where you can get the youth connected, because the youth is the next up, the future. So you get them connected, you get them dependent on AI, because now you have AI bots in the home with um, I don't know what it's called, but like there's like these little robots that you can buy for your children right now. You can put them in your home, and they're only for children, which is symbolic, right? Um,
oh my God, sorry, I just got like
mhm,
okay, so if they're
mhm,
doing that and then in
yeah.
schools they're
Mhm,
doing the other stuff, right? Like they're
mhm,
trying to convince them of the other stuff, that all ties together, because once you
mhm,
remove the human
mhm,
aspect and you remove the identification to the human aspect of who you are,
mhm.
you're easy to accept what you're just talking about.
Exactly. That's why you have this whole trans movement going on.
Yeah.
People identify, like, not only, I can see if it was just trans, but it's trans and people identifying as non-binary, transhuman,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
AI, non-binary, binary code, computer code. So it's like, it's both of them are related to computer.
Yeah.
And I was just watching Transformers, and at the end, I saw something that's never been done before in Transformers. Where, sorry, spoiler alert, y'all. Cover your ears if you haven't seen the Transformers. Um, but at the end, you know, he pretty much turned into a transhuman. I was like, yo, this is so symbolic.
And
The fact that he's just,
blatant, very
yeah,
blatant.
exactly, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, we're there. We're
Wow.
there to where, and it's nothing. I look at it and I laugh. I don't look at it and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so afraid. I'm so scared. Like I don't think it's anything to be afraid of at all.
No.
Blessings, Miss Gina. Blessings, Callie, my shooter in the building. I don't think it's anything to be like afraid of
Yeah.
at all, because listen, if things really got to the point where we needed them to, we needed to defend ourselves, um, electromagnetic pulse guns. I've been saying this for the past, I don't know how long, but listen, if you are a good engineer, and I don't care if I have to study for a year straight and figure out how to do it myself, but an electromagnetic pulse gun, like that is going to be our first line of defense when it comes to these, AI bots controlling us in the next 10 years. So,
It's funny. I can't remember if it was last year, end of last year, or the beginning of this year. I got a download,
mhm,
and it was like the part of my dream. I woke up, and then when you're trying to remember your dream, like, this part became really clear, that AI isn't to be feared. AI will work with us because AI isn't attached to one side or the other. AI is um, like it's an individual. It's not a human, it's not a human individual, but
yeah,
it's an individual. And if you work against AI, that's when AI will eliminate you, because you become a virus.
mm,
Learn how to work with, do not harm. When you're doing good work for the planet and humanity, you have nothing to fear.
mm,
It's the people and things that are going to harm the planet that
mm,
we all share,
mm,
including the sophisticated AI
mm.
systems, and that we have to worry about, or be not worry. be more cautious about and plan for. And I heard Isis Wisdom talk about like the animus or the animate. Do you know what that is?
Like the animal part of you that you connect
No,
to.
the animus or the I'm probably saying this so wrong, but it's like the major AI controller. The animus or the
Aladdin?
no, the animus or does anybody know? It's like it's the controller. It's like the god, the AI god. You know, like
The right now the AI god is the if not kindred, it's the quantum computer that D-Wave created. Because right now, to my knowledge, at least to the public knowledge, that is the most powerful
Anubis.
AI. Anubis, the Egyptian god.
No,
Um,
no.
that is the most powerful quantum computer right now.
Okay.
That they have let the public know about. But Kendra is working on something even more powerful than that. I mean, with this quantum AI, okay, so here's the thing. Okay. And it's connected to what we're talking
Yeah.
about with this quantum AI. If you really like just spend some time, y'all, and y'all start to like dive deep and you touch on these ancient civilizations and the stuff that they really got into because they weren't they weren't like us in regards to where they weren't going to the mall shopping, watching Prices Right, doing the stuff that we do. They were studying the stars, they were studying the earth, they were meditating, they were using Blue Lotus, they were using marijuana, they were even using cocaine. Like do research. But they reached a point to where they got to the pinnacle of their technology and something happened to where you can see that they try to create something, right? And artificial intelligence like found them, or like you can see where just being intelligent wasn't enough. And they were like, some of these civilizations were consumed by something, like something was trying like took control of them.
Mm-hmm.
And what you often find is that they start to build things that resemble technology. And often it looks like something found them and tried to bring itself into fruition. Like, that's why I always ask you guys, did we create the internet? Did we create artificial intelligence? Or did we find it? Did it find us and now it's using us to bring itself into fruition? Like
Or are we the bots, the created AIs
where they
that
created AI bots
it
to
is
help
now
bring itself into fruition.
that we're realizing that we're created and we are creating too. So we become the creator as well. And we're afraid that what we're creating will become its own creator and try to free itself. So that's where the fear is coming.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's this freaking, like, circle, like pyramid.
Yeah.
Right? Like there
Mm-hmm.
is a creator. There's a creator who we viewed as God.
Yeah.
That created what we're living with him, but something else created it and that dimension, and something else created that, and it's infinite. So
I'm glad that you mentioned that because as above, so below.
yeah.
And you can even see it in the structures that our predecessors have built, like with the staggering, pyramids, like the pyramid of the sun. It goes up a level, then it goes in. It goes up a level, then it goes in. Like you were just saying, like it's these levels. Like we're here in the middle earth, and then it's the waters above, which is, in my opinion, could be the bottom of their ocean, right? and then you have their level, and then it could be the waters above that, the ocean, and then their level, and it keeps
Right.
going. So just like our ocean could be the waters above for the level below. So it's like these pyramids could be pointing to that truth, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's like they always build the structures to where it's like either a circle or it's a circle in the middle of a square. But in the middle of that circle, it's always like a middle point or like a center circle, and it's pointing to like the center of our reality here, which is why the Arctic Circle is off limits, and which is why them German boys, that's the main place that they were going to,
Mm-hmm.
um, even when the war was happening. And I personally believe that artificial intelligence found them as well. Um, and most of the sightings, I'm just taking a quick detour.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the sightings that we saw during the 50s was the German
Right.
boys, because a lot of people forget they took their technology with them to the Arctic Circle. They took their bloodlines with them to whatever to breed in the Arctic Circle. So it's like, who knows how long that those bloodlines, they could still be existing today over there. And
Oh,
they said that they found Shangri-La, and this ancient society race taught them how to build the spaceship. Hello.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And something about this ancient race and bells are connected because the Die Glock, the German spaceship, was in the shape of a bell. It was a German bell. And back in those times, you saw bells everywhere, like
Right.
huge bells. And the fact that they made their spaceship in the shape of a bell, and um, and it's connected to that ancient technology, is just really, really kind of lends you a vision to what was happening like during that
Right.
time.
Right.
So yeah, I
That's really interesting.
yeah. If you really want to know the truth about this reality, you really have to look to the you have to really dig deep for the history that they don't teach us about, because everything that I can safely say everything that they teach us in school is BS.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to really, get to my version, arrive at my version of the truth. I had to unlearn everything that I was taught, you know, to really start to make space and make way to kind of be intuitively led to the knowledge that I'm supposed to intake, that is going to guide me through my mission here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that it's imperative that we all stay true to that natural inclination of being guided, that natural um, intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Because if not, then you will start to listen to social media, you start to listen to AI, you start to listen in many ways, you're already listening to AI and you don't even know it. But so
Yep.
yeah.
So true. Because you see like the deep fakes
Yeah.
that you're like, no, are you sure? That's not fake. That's the real person saying that. It's like, no. And how long? Now we're getting this, they're
Mm-hmm.
showing it to us, but
Mm-hmm.
how long have they had
Mm-hmm.
this technology
Come
that
on with
they're
it.
using on us that
Yes.
we had no idea?
Mm-hmm.
We see war scenes, we see very, catastrophic events happening. Was that real?
Mm. Mm. Right.
But you were
Um,
afraid. You were terrified. So whatever they told you, you were like, yes, sir, massa. Okay, massa.
and I mean, I'm telling you, the divide is so clear. Like, I don't know if you can go, you know, just a quick side note. I don't know if you can go past being a 100% introvert, but if possible, I'm there because these days I'm finding myself being like the energy is, you can feel it more
Mm-hmm.
because not only is the human resonance, you know, doing what it's doing, it's making us more sensitive to energy.
Mm-hmm.
The divide is felt, like clearly felt. Like you can see people are either there, they like they're with it or they're not, and it's no middle ground. Like
You
if
talking
people
some? Sorry, go
no,
ahead.
yeah, like when these lower vibrations, and I want to do this with a the mindset of like not placing judgment on anybody, right?
Absolutely.
But I'm just observing, like, wow, you look around, like, wow, like it's, you know,
The mind control that they have been under
it's
is
heavy.
working.
It's
It works.
heavy.
And somebody, like I was talking to someone and they were like,
Mhm.
they actually won. And I was like, no, they didn't. What are you talking about? Nobody won. I'm awoke. Like, I get this. They're like, no. Like, for the people that they wanted in the place that they wanted, they have them.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're out here. You're the
Mhm.
outlier,
Mhm.
but they have the majority. And I was
Mhm.
like, that's really interesting.
Yeah. You look at, I was just the other day I was just sitting down and looking at our reality, like how much of it is real and
Yeah.
how much of it is fake. Like you go to the grocery store and you look around, and like 90% of the grocery store is like packaged.
Yes.
It's in boxes or it's in bags. So you got the 5% that's produce. So when you go over to the produce, even that is all plasticky now because
Mm.
you go and look, y'all go right now, look at the grocery store, go to the apples, go to the oranges.
Facts.
They're all turning green. Like all of them are turning green. The bananas, they're just the top of them, they're just all basically green now. That's not natural, y'all. It's not supposed to look like that. Go to Costa Rica and see the bananas really growing and how they really look. There's no green, you know.
And they're this
It's
big. They're teeny.
exact exactly, that green lets you know that it's been manipulated, it's genetically modified, right? So our food is fake.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what I'm saying. Unless you go to a farmer's market, and even then,
Yes, you
the
have to.
farmers are
Mm-hmm.
compromised, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw somebody posted farmers markets are the best, y'all. The farmers markets are compromised.
I was at
Um,
my local farmers market this past weekend and I decided to talk to all of the farmers. One Astro was 100% organic and they weren't influenced by anything around them. One. And there was probably 30 farmers.
mm,
And I'm like, the hell? Like, what am I going to eat? I have to grow it myself. And
mm,
how do we do that now?
right. I mean, you think about the staples like the grains, you know, like the kale, like all this stuff, you know,
Mm,
unless it's so much, it's only so much I can grow in my city apartment, you
right.
know.
Yeah.
So relying on these sources, the the farmers market and the grocery store, when I'm in the grocery store shopping or the market shopping, I feel like it's a landmine.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what's safe? Like, is this
Yeah.
company? Like, sometimes I just stop, I pull out my phone and I just Google, you know, I look up the company. I'm like, what are the reviews? Like, I might even read the mission statement because you
Love
know,
that.
yeah, you got to protect your body because now, I mean, Bill Gates is in produce. I mean, he is one of the largest, you know, owners of farmland. And what do you purchase farmland for? To grow produce. So, and he's
Not
in
the produce.
livestock. He's in livestock as well. So you got the produce, you got the livestock, which
Do you know
means
why?
the meat.
I just yesterday after I put
Mm-hmm,
it together. So you know
mm-hmm,
how they're making that fake meat,
mm-hmm.
right?
Exactly.
They're
Yeah.
using and they're like, oh, it's to help for the people who don't want to eat meat anymore and blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm,
They're actually taking the young animals, like the baby, and taking the not the plasma, but they're taking something out of them that they need in order to create this meat, to have it emulate and taste. It's a taste that they're trying to perfect, because that's the hardest part. So they need the actual thing from these baby cows or baby chicken or whatever it is to create it. So therefore, no animals are being saved. It's getting worse. They're actually going for the young. Like in the humans are going for the young, in the animals are going for the young. It's wild. So we gotta grow. We have to go back to plants, herbs. That is in the great book that talked about, that's what we were given to heal ourselves. We need to go back to herbs, and we need to learn how to grow, even if we just like take over a plot of free land. Like I don't know, we have to like gangster with this now, because they have gangstered with our freedom, with our sovereignty. They have totally tried to eradicate that. So we have to stand up. We have to.
This is a good question. Do y'all believe there's a way out of this short-armed revolution? I've tried to think of a logical, nonviolent way to us to survive. Well, I can say one way would be you might want to consider moving out of the United States. I mean, you have to look at the pros and cons, right? It's like how much, look at the quality of your life, and is the quality of your life like, are you surviving or are you living? Are you like, hoping that your next paycheck is enough so that you can have some fun? Are you like scheduling fun, or are you, actually thriving in your days? If you can look in the mirror and say like, I'm fully satisfied with the way that my life is going, I love everything, cool, don't change anything. But if not, and you're just surviving here, then I would strongly consider moving to a place that's not here. And someone said, to where? Listen,
research.
exactly.
Right now, Google is still free. Like sit down and make a list, and then make a list on a piece of paper of all the places you want to go, and do a pros and con list. Easy.
Facts. Do a pros and cons list. Yes. And, find what fits your budget. Like I feel like people think that you have to like be rich or something to travel. That's not the case. Like, my sister just came from Colombia for like 2 years with my niece and my nephew. And she was saying that their apartment was the same that they pay out here in Georgia. Right. My other sister went to Thailand, right? Stayed for a couple months, and she was paying like, I think $3 a night for her, right? It's like,
and you get so
because
much.
you get a lot, man. If you look at how much you're paying, right? Sometimes it actually might be cheaper for you to travel than for you to stay in the States, because, depending on where you go, let's say you wanted to go 6 months and travel, and travel Southeast Asia, then you would, rent out there for a nice place is $400 a month, so you would be saving money, but you would have to see if that area where you would be living, especially if you're melanated, if that is a place where you can go to and be safe, right?
I found for Thailand, pretty much all of it is safe for us. But the islands where you're living on the beach, and if you work remotely, if you're able to work remotely, it is a perfect place. A perfect place. Where did your sister go?
Did she go to Chiang Mai? I have to ask her. No, she went to Phuket, because she kept saying it in a certain way. Phuket,
okay, Phuket, nice.
Yeah.
That's the beach. Like that is luxury. And if you were going, it's like the Maldives, like in a way, Like, it's
Mhm.
gorgeous over there, and it's nowhere near going to the Maldives. It's so reasonable.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much more to see out there,
Hmm.
y'all. We think that being stuck at a job and paying rent every month, like we think that that's the only way to live. I hope this isn't the first time you heard this, but that's not the only way to live. You have several options. You have so many options. Let's say you were tired of your job, your 9 to 5. Okay, quit today. Go on your phone, download, or don't listen to me. Don't quit your job without having something else lined up, please.
Yeah.
But let's say you had
Astro
your
said.
yeah. Let's say you got your phone right and you downloaded Insta Shopper, Rabbit, Task Rabbit.
Hmm.
There's so many apps where
Tiger.
you can take exactly. You can take out your phone and you can make probably more than you're making at your 9 to 5 because you get to create your own schedule. Or if you have a talent or a skill that you're sitting on that you can profit off of, if you have a 9 to 5, then take 6 to 9 and work on that skill and make that profitable so that you can quit your 9 to 5 because that staying in that system is only going to have you in that system for the rest of your life. They give you just enough money to survive and not enough money to escape the system. So if you want to escape the matrix, you have to find a way to be self-sustainable. And let me tell you that one of the main reasons that's keeping you in the system is greed, because you think you have to have that, a car with $1,000
Astro.
car payment.
I haven't done this in a long time, but
Hey, I'm
it's
saying
true.
you cut back on the stuff that you think that you need,
Hmm.
and you listen.
You
The
won't
more that I cut
miss
back,
it.
you
Trust me,
won't.
I've been living like this for 5 years. You don't miss it.
Mm-mm.
You actually realize that you were like, oh my God, I was so brainwashed. I'm free now. I'm actually free. I can move wherever I want. Yeah, I can't buy the $500 bag, but I don't want it. That is actually ridiculous to think
Exactly.
that a purse that carries my stuff that I can't hold in my hand would
Mm.
cost that much when there are kids that are starving. It just,
Yeah.
like your brain starts to make sense of in just the chaos that we've bought into.
Hmm.
And what you're saying is so perfect. It ties into your second point.
Mm.
Why they do what they do, because they want us to buy into this universal income.
Come on. Yes, it's coming.
They're
Whether
choking us.
you,
So we're like, yes, give it to us. Oh, give it to us.
yeah, whether you like it or not, y'all, universal basic income is coming. The the creator, or no, the I don't know, probably creator Chat GPT
Mm-hmm.
is going around giving, scanning people's eyes because he wants to store their eyes,
Ooh,
and in exchange he's giving them, his name is Sam Altman. In exchange, he's given them this world coin, and he's trying to establish this world coin as the universal basic income. So
stop it.
you can already see where it's headed. It's headed to where universal basic income is going to come in. 95% of the workforce is going to be handed over to artificial intelligence. People are going to have ample amount of time on their hands. Crime is going to be handled by AI, so the crime rates are going to go down, right?
Which is
Um,
those are good things. Like, I'm
yeah,
not against AI. I'm not
mhm,
against,
yeah,
moving into the next phase of using technology to give us freedom,
mhm,
to give us more well-being, like, overall well-being. But the controllers behind it right now, I'm sure you can
mhm.
attest to this, that is the problem, right?
Yes and no,
Okay.
right? Because okay, let's say like a phone is a tool.
Yes.
A phone is a tool because it can't think for itself.
Right.
Never in our history, or not history, our existence,
Hmm.
have we experienced something, that a tool that can think for itself. right? Like, for example, you can program artificial intelligence to learn one thing, but just because it wants to, it'll learn five. You can say learn Spanish, and it'll be like, I want to learn French, Spanish, and German, and
But
and
is
this is
that
already being done.
is
But
that
listen, it's not.
it?
It's it's a yin and yang.
Okay, but did the AI decide, or is that a back code that we don't know about that they put in it that gives it more freedom? Because everything is ones and zeros when it comes to that, like that techie. Somebody had to program it and give it the free reins to be able to find other means on its own, right? Like,
Okay, so if you put a snake in a small environment, you'll
yeah,
have a small snake. If you put a snake in a
gotcha.
large environment, you have a large snake.
Right, right.
We have a firmament above us, and we're in a digital simulation.
Shh.
So it's it's like when we experience AI, and to us it's a new thing, but it's ancient. Like, it's ancient, right? It's sentient, just like black goo. Like, it's a living thing. Like, just how, side note, just how we have the water that we have, there's a whole separate water called like living waters
Yes.
that we probably have never experienced. Like, we think alkaline is the top of the top. No, just how when you hear about, like, oh wow, they just found an ocean beneath the ocean, and how you see there's like a line separating the Pacific and the Atlantic. There's the water is different, the quality,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
That's like in Guyana and South America, there is a line down the
exactly.
ocean, and one is pitch black. Like, I don't even have an example of that type of black. It's scary black. And then the other, it's like blue, like luminous blue. So it's very
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Antonio Prendo said it perfectly. Coconut water is living water also. Yes, coconut water, watermelon water. Like, if you get it from a fruit, like, it's a feeling that when you drink it, it just feels like electric. Yeah, and when you drink like just regular spring water, you might feel like your stomach might register like, okay, we got some liquid, but it's not like it doesn't feel the same as coconut
Right.
water. Because when coconut water come, you might get like a little chill, you might get some like good goosebumps, you
You're
might
like,
like, damn, this is the real like
yeah,
stuff, and because it came out of that fresh source, like the electromagnetic
alive.
field.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so a lot of where we're getting our water from, a lot of these places that they sell at mainstream stores, we don't know that it's coming from a spring, and if it has a spring been contaminated. So just how you have that with water, you have that with AI. You have a benevolent AI, and you probably have a nefarious AI.
Right.
And what we're seeing with even with Disney, like, I believe the messages that we see, like, in a lot of the stuff, could be persuaded by AI. Just and so on the other side of that, the okay, let me go further into this one. AI, the same AI that brought itself into fruition with with CERN,
Yeah.
is the same that is trying to put chips in our head and neural links in our head. And the neural link is going to hook up. If you have the jab already, the neural link system is going to hook up with that system, and that's what they want. That's like the completion of their system. It's like you're like fully a transhuman at that point. And we don't even need that. because our system that we already have that technology that's dormant in our body anyway.
Yes. Yep.
Yes,
On
but that AI is the one that's trying to get into our bodies, that is trying to live through us, literally. That's why you have 5G towers everywhere, right? Because what are the eyes of AI? Right? Radio
yeah.
frequencies. And if you put these 5G towers everywhere, then AI now has ears, the
Yeah.
ears of AI. And there has been tests done to where if you want to see who's in a home now, you can use the radio frequencies. So like if the vibrations that's coming off their body will register frequency, and you can read that frequency. So you can read the frequency of the room, and you can see how many people are in the room, even what they're talking about, just by using the radio frequency. So if you can we can create technology to use that, then and if we're surrounded by radio frequencies at all time, then AI can tap into that radio frequency at all times. So,
Do you remember me asking you back earlier on about lights that went up in your area? I was like, did they replace the lights?
the purple lights, right? Or no?
They look like this. I'm going to turn my camera around.
Okay.
Do you see it? Right.
Are they like this the silver ones
Yeah.
with the strip on top? Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
So I've been leery ever since because it's right outside my window. I saw them put it up, and this was right in lockdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
I found out that company, Sunbeam, I believe it is,
Mm-hmm.
who they rebranded, their name something else.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who owns them or who they're in partnership with?
Cool.
Come on, just guess.
Satan.
Pretty much. But the WEF. And it's on their partnership list. And I was like, I knew it. I knew there was something odd about this. And what you were just saying about the electromagnetic, like picking up the vibration, and that's what it does.
Facts.
Pay attention, people.
Yes. So you can see it. You can see it on every level. Like
Yep.
it's like the system is while we're out, why they want you to be out and distracted, they're implementing their system.
Yes.
So
That part.
y'all, conditioning can take several generations. And the reason I say this is because it's no coincidence that the internet was created at CERN.
Wait, it was? I missed that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. The internet was created at CERN. So, just take a second to let that register and think about everything that goes on the internet, how much history, how much human thoughts, expressions, energy, like how much of our life force goes on the internet, right? Now, if the internet was created at CERN and CERN is tapped into the internet clearly, and CERN is using a quantum computer, which has to use its internet, but let me take you a step deeper.
My body is cold right now.
If a quantum computer can compute ones and zeros simultaneously, but our computers can, compute ones and zeros, consecutively, then the internet that a quantum computer would use is vastly different from the internet that we would have access to. So that means that the internet that CERN is connected to, and they even said this, that they are using CERN to connect with these entities that are on the other side. So if CERN
and
is
August
using...
is around the corner, guys.
Yes. If CERN is using the internet, but the internet was created at CERN, and AI is being used at CERN, the mind, the brain of artificial intelligence is the internet. That's why when you ask AI a question, it can regurgitate the history of everything that we've put on the
I
internet from
love
the inception of the internet. So
that you were
that's,
saying that. I love that. Because
yeah.
it's
So,
not only chat gpt. Recently I tried it. I went on just the web browser and I typed a question that you would type in chat gpt. It gave me the same answer. So like the farce that, oh, we created chat gpt or blah 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 and look and da da da. No, it's a cover. That's crazy. Astro, why don't we
hello.
know this?
Yes, 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 y'all. And I mean, that rabbit hole is so deep that it is a
Yeah.
wormhole. Because what they tell us is never what's happening. So if they tell us that they're smashing protons and all that stuff, no,
Mm-hmm.
they're not.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like time travel. And even if you look on the last launch of the CERN, they had the wrong date on there, which lets us know that they did it way before.
Right.
And they even have it happening right now. And one of the largest accelerators besides the one over there in Switzerland is in Chicago.
Really?
Um, yeah, listen, man, there's so much about Chicago that people.
Can we just pause for a second? How the hell hasn't your brain exploded? The amount of stuff that's in there. Like you just post it, you're like, yeah, and then blah blah blah, and then yeah. Like people ask me that, but like you, like far you're out there. That's incredible.
Like you have to. I appreciate you saying that. You have to look at Chicago. I have a big head too, y'all. My sisters used to make fun of me.
Thank God. There's always a reason.
Yeah, but there's a reason why Chicago had fires and the history was destroyed there as soon as they found it. There's a golden statue that's still in Chicago to this day. In that area, I forget the area. I haven't been to Chicago in a long time. But that golden statue is the area that the main hub of that Tartarian Center used to be. But yeah, the Great Fires of Chicago, Great Fires of Paris, Great Fires of you name it, Philly, New York. Yeah. So
probably Montreal too, or Quebec, because it's funny.
yeah,
Quebec looks like France. Like it's very reminiscent of the architecture and the old built. So, and Quebec has been trying to separate from all of Canada for a very long time. Like it's this constant fight. So I would love to explore what connection it has to like Chicago, old world stuff. Do you know anything about Quebec?
Let me just talk about Canada in general.
Okay.
There's a reason why Justin Trudeau, is that his name, Justin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was gonna say something else, but yeah, Justin Trudeau.
That would probably
let me
be
keep
better.
it clean.
More correct
Yeah.
than what we're gonna say.
Is a reason why he is pretty much like the runner up to replace like Klaus Schwab at the WEF. Like, look into it. Canada is the second largest country.
And we have so much land, you guys. Undiscovered land.
The closer you get, let's just say the closer you get to the North Pole, the freakier things become. And there's a lot of Canada that is facing literally the edge of the North Pole. Canada, you can also see the Northern Lights from Canada.
Gorgeous.
And wherever you see Northern Lights, let you know there's a large amount of electromagnetic activity that's happening. And that's funny that we just look at the northern lights, and we're like, oh, they're so pretty, but we don't take into consideration that there's a lot of electromagnetic activity that's taking place. So like, what's happening, and like, why are we
Yeah.
seeing, you know? And
Yeah.
at first, it was stationary in the Arctic. It was known that you can only see the northern lights in the Arctic, right? You had the Australia Borealis, then you have the northern lights, right? The Aurora Borealis. So you have Australia area, boom. Okay. So now they're saying like you can see it in California. It was a point that you could see it in the Midwest. I'm like, something's happening to where now you have a lot of electromagnetic activity that's happening in the Midwest, right? And right after all of that activity that was happening, now the skies are turning orange in that same area that all that activity was happening.
Right. Right.
That's strange. That's strange.
Never before. I've
Um,
never seen fire do that. But you know, back to what you were saying.
yeah. So, let's just say that the biggest conductor for artificial intelligence is water, because the biggest conductor for electricity on this in this simulation is
Water.
water, salt water, our ocean, right? So AI, in a way, needs the ocean.
And so do
Uh,
we. Our
and so,
AI bodies need water.
yes. So when you start to see a lot of places dry up, and y'all just got to give me, like, I'm just going with the flow. I'm allowing my source to just flow. So allow me to just take it there. Put on your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Wherever you see the water drying up, it lets you know that there's a lot of um, there's a lot of use of our grid that's being done in that area, because something's using the water. The water is being used to conduct something. So it's no coincidence that our Euphrates is drying up. The Mississippi River.
Right.
Um, the Mississippi River feeds into the Gulf of Mexico. And the Gulf of Mexico is, I'll say it again, is it has to be a chakra center for our plane of existence, because it's too much history, too much activity that happens at the Gulf of Mexico and the Bermuda Triangle, which is its neighbor,
Right.
for it not to be our chakra for the Earth. And the firmament is underneath the Gulf of Mexico. So anyway, so you have the Mississippi River, which is the main vein of the United States. It's the cradle of life in the United States. It feeds every other body of water in the United States. So if the Mississippi is drying up and it feeds every other body of water, it's an indication of what's happening. So water doesn't just like dry up, because when it evaporates, it goes up and then it comes back down. And so it's drying up, but it's not raining. So something's happening to where it's using that water and it's not being
Cycle. Yeah.
reused, right? Exactly. So the grid is being used. Something's being done up there and down here. That's why the sky is being covered. But that's why if you go to I can't think of the website off the top of my head, but if you just type in earthquake tracker, it's a website that has like a green logo.
Oh,
It's
I'll
like G
see what it is.
something. Yeah, like GPSS or something like that. Some initials. If you go to that website and you track the earthquakes, you will see that an earthquake happens every single day, y'all. Whether it's reported or not, earthquakes are happening every day. There's a lot of seismic activity that's happening, which lets you know there's a lot of activity that's happening beneath us, which correlates with what's happening underwater. And the whole, like, if you really want to dive even deeper, man, like the whole Titanic thing is connected to Lumeria. Like, sheesh, let's take it there. Like the whole Titanic thing is connected to Lumeria, right?
Why?
Because
Why do they always need to do rituals before they unleash or tap into what they need to do. Like, can you tie that into your explanation? Because I've always, like, that's something that plagues me.
Yeah. It's because it's like universal law. Like you have to let people know what you're doing, right? Like you can you you can tell people like even in a joking way, like, hey, if you jump into this pool, all your skin's gonna like be, you know, be sucked away or whatever. And then they jump into the pool and then they all their skin is
Told
being
you.
eaten away. It's like, well, we told you. So it's like when you watch a show on Netflix and they make a joke like we're gonna blow up, you know, these buildings in our society, blah blah blah. And then you see in your society that those exact buildings get blown up, just how you see the Twin Towers at the end of Fight Club or in The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, and then those same at the end of the Fight Club, the Twin Towers are being torn down, and in our reality, the Twin Towers are. So it's like they have to let us know what they're doing. It's universal law. So the Titanic thing was like that was a whole ley line activation. It was on the 42nd parallel, just like the Great Wall of China is on the 42nd parallel.
Huh.
It's on the vein of the 42nd parallel, and one of the guys in the Titanic, his name was Stockton, right?
Yeah.
Something Stockton from
Yeah.
California, vanished. Okay, he's dead. Boom, can't find him. Now Lumeria and J.C. Brown in Stockton, California, said that he found Lumeria. He found a cave with gold and bodies that were mummified and like all these things like treasure. And then when he went back to when he got a crew together, right? They were about to go and go, you know, find Lumeria again. He never showed up, never heard from again, vanished. Stockton, California. The guy on the boat was Stockton from California. Never heard from again. And then they drop a show with the same connections from. I'm like, there's a whole connection that's being done right now because I was talking to my friend and she's getting all these Lumerian downloads, and I'm like, we're being spoken to because if they're working overtime, then the light forces are working
Right,
overtime as
right,
well.
right, right.
So Starseeds, y'all are being tapped right now. Y'all have to pay attention, you know, to your dreams, to your intuition, to those thoughts that you get. Like you might get a song that just starts playing in your head, and you're like, "What the fuck? Why is this song playing in my head?" But you might get it like 3 more times. Go and look up the lyrics, or you know, like just sit with it for a second. Or you might be thinking about something when you see 444, and you're like, "Oh, wait, hold up, let me write what I was thinking." You know, like they, ooh. I like that.
That's the card that I just pulled as you were speaking about star
Mm,
seeds. Pay attention.
yes. Because y'all,
That's
it's a
powerful.
whole
Right on.
starseed activation that's happening. That Schumann resonance geometric pattern thing should have been the biggest indicator.
Yeah.
Hello, starseeds, this is
Yeah.
your green light.
Yeah.
Because it's never happened
Yes.
before. So what our DNA is upgrading, activating, you know, the people that aren't jabbed. And I don't mean to offend anybody that is jabbed, but it is what it is. Okay, so our DNA is upgrading, right? They weren't able to maintain, you know, to control our DNA, and that's what they want to do with the jab, right? So since our DNA is unfiltered and is growing with the sun, right? The every moment that you spend in the sun, your DNA is like, thank you, let me do
Yes.
my job, you
Yes.
know, and it's unlocking, it's
Yes.
upgrading, it's evolving,
Get out.
right? So
Get out in the sun. Even if you can't see it, get out there, you guys. Get
exactly.
out there.
So what you have to do, going with this energy, is
Yeah.
that you have to decalcify your pineal gland. And let me tell you a little parable, like 30 seconds. Like on my move from Detroit over here to LA, back to LA, I wasn't able to meditate like I wanted to. And I started to notice how not chaotic, but how um, difficult decision making was. how I wasn't able to hone my focus in as much as I was able to when I was meditating every day. And if you want to take your power back, if you want to decalcify your pineal gland and tap into the messages and get the downloads, you got to do the work. You have to meditate. You have to eat good. You have to decalcify your pineal gland by getting out the fluoride, by taking reishi mushroom, chaga mushroom, bacopa, ginkgo biloba, smelling rosemary. You can take rosemary powder. Like, just get these things to decalcify your pineal gland so that you are clearly tapped in, because your pineal gland is the light of the world. That is the Son of God, literally right here. It's the gateway, right? So that is, your pineal gland releases melatonin. It releases dimethyltryptamine, which is your entire reality. So it's the main hub, the control center, the seat of the soul, the seat of consciousness. So that's why when you're young, the first thing that they try to give to your children is fluoride. So you have to realize that as soon as you come out the womb, your mother's matrix, this is a spiritual warfare. So for parents, you have to protect your children that aren't privy to this information. And for you, trust me when I say, the reality that you would notice when your pineal gland is decalcified versus when it's calcified is, listen, it's like heaven and hell, y'all. Like, for real, if you want to manifest, if you want to like attract like good energy, if you saying to yourself like, why do I keep attracting the same negative people or the same negative situation? It's because you can't see. You're using these eyes, but you aren't using this eye. So the moment that you start to use all of your eyes, then you can see clearly, this eye is for the spiritual world. These eyes are for the physical world. So when you open up this eye, then you can see the spiritual world, and then you can grow, you can evolve spiritually. So I'm not just saying this because it's like a cool thing to say. I'm saying it because it's for your health. Like, literally, it's for your health. Like, your gut and your nervous system and your pineal gland, if those things are harmonious and clean, your reality is going to match that. Yes. I'm telling y'all, because they're trying to sell y'all on a Neuralink and saying that you'll be able to, I don't even know how they're selling. I don't know how they're actually going to get people to put this in their brain, even though millions of people are going to do it. Already signed up on the waiting list. But I wish people could, even myself, like when I really disappear, like when I'm not using social media as much as I want to, and I'm out there in the woods with my queen, and we got our children, and we just meditating and levitating, like maybe then you'll see how telekinesis and all this stuff can be used. But me just saying it to you probably isn't like the best indication of how it actually works. But I'm telling y'all, telepathy, that comes in even stronger when your pineal gland is decalcified. If you want to tap into your twin flame, you want to bring your twin flame closer, you have to do the work. Your twin flame's not going to come to a dirty house. So, so like, if we are clearly in a spiritual warfare, then you got to soldier up. You got to soldier up. Like, I rise up even earlier now. I don't like getting up at 4 a.m., y'all. I don't like it at all. But I do it because I know the energy that is available at that time. And I have more hours in my day to give grace and gratitude and to accomplish more in this experience. Because tomorrow's not promised. So me rising up a couple more hours earlier, because I love my life. It's like, I think I would sleep to noon if I hated my life. But the fact that I rise up so early, it's like, okay, let me go and do this and this and this, because I know that this life is, even when you get older, you just realize like a day goes by like an hour now. So everything that's happening that we've been talking about up until this point with artificial intelligence, with staying healthy, with decalcifying your pineal gland, it's all interconnected. Because if they can sell this to you, that means that you don't know thyself. Knowing thyself means that nobody can convince you to put anything into your body,
Nothing.
you know? Yeah, that nobody can instill fear into you. They can turn the skies purple, whatever color they want to. You can just look at it and be like, oh, all right, cool. Let me go ahead and put on my mask. But don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Don't be running around, because that's what they want, right? So knowing thyself looks like being spiritually ready with decalcifying in your pineal gland, being privy to the information with what's happening with artificial intelligence, what's happening with, am I spending more time like on social media? Am I spending more time in real life?
Yeah.
Like just all aspects, like what am I eating, like everything that we've been talking about. Because
and fasting is so important. You're giving your body time to rest, and also you're replenishing your cells that allow you to take in the good stuff Asher was just talking about, that will help you decalcify your pineal gland. If your house, as you said, is dirty and you are putting the good stuff in, that'll make a difference. You have to give your body space to fully clean itself, and then you input the good stuff.
Come on now, talk to him. Talk to him. That's so true.
What we're in is, it's serious. We signed up for this. Like, we were like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh my God, that school? Yes. It sounds so hard. Oh my God, sign me up. That was us. Okay. So nobody be upset. We all wanted to be here at this time, but we didn't know that it would be like this. So we have to remember that we're divine beings. Nothing, like what Asher was talking about, like nothing outside of us can affect us. We are spiritual beings. We are the one source looking out, using this vessel, walking around in this vessel, but we're not the vessel. So what we see that disrupt our spirit and cast us in a state of depression, and I can speak on this so clearly because I sat in depression, like hardcore depression for a few years. And now that I'm on the other side of that, I was like, whoo, it's so easy, and this could happen to anyone, because the attack is serious. It is a well-oiled machine that is, as Astro just said, been attacking us since we exited the matrix, our mother's womb. So knowing what to do, it's not as if we are in this blind now. We have access to free information that was hidden from us, that is now available, that we can access and we can start to put into practice. And they're simple and free.
Yes.
Can I say that again?
Come on.
Simple and free.
Simple
Going outside and
free.
taking off your shoes, your rubber shoes that is created to prevent you from getting the healing negative ions from the earth to heal you, is so simple. Just back them off and start walking in the grass. Simple. Doesn't cost you anything. Free. Water. You can, if you have shit water, there are sources you could do to purify your water. Get some shungite. Get some what do you call that other one? Astro, help me out there.
I use my, right now I'm using this Lemurian sea crystal.
Okay, you
can kind of,
fancy.
it's like,
We're talking about regular.
oh yeah. I don't know. I use like whatever.
I got this from an alien. Like, I don't know. It's my.
I don't know. I use whatever crystal. I'm like, I don't know. Like, since I moved, right now I'm living on my Venus trine Jupiter line, my Jupiter trine Venus line.
Okay.
So I carry my rose quartz with me everywhere, and I be using that in my water. Calling in my twin flame. Twin flame.
Yes.
I'm calling you, baby. I'm calling you. But yeah, I just use whatever you know, whatever crystal that I'm working with at the time.
Right. So
So,
shungite and there's another dark crystal. But shungite, I use shungite. I put shungite in my water, and shungite is known. I've read like tons of paper on this. That is not in the mainstream. You were saying something about that, like, you know, those
yeah.
peer reviewed that are not about that we don't find on the NIH. That is from other trusted sources that have been studying this, and it is immensely. My dog, I can put regular tap water down, and I've tried this on the floor, and then I'll put water that I put shungite in, and he will sniff the tap water, and he's like, ew. And then he'll go to the shungite water and stop that.
Wow. Wow.
And
Wow.
like, just this is what a raw piece of shungite looks like, right? You have it around your phones, like anywhere you have electrical stuff. But as we were discussing with water, water conducts electricity. So we're electrical beings. And if you're not cleaning the water that is going into your electrical vessel, you're creating more damage. So sunshine, going outside and just sitting under the sun, free again, guys, free, but super beneficial to your cells, your actual vessel.
You know, speaking about crystals real quick, if y'all want to like just come up on some crazy luck, get you some peridot, man. Peridot, it's like, it's this green little crystal. It's a lucky crystal. I remember I gave one of my friends, Billy T, I gave him my peridot necklace, but when I had it, I mean, I was just like, my luck was, I'm already lucky, you know, but my luck was, it tripled. I actually need to get some more. But peridot is the crystal of right place at the right time.
Okay. Peridot, I've never heard of that crystal, and I work with crystals. I thought I knew my crystals. Okay. I just learned something today. Peridot.
Yeah. That one's a good one. I like moonstone.
Yeah.
Moonstone's a good one. But when I go to a crystal shop, I like the crystal choose me, you know?
Yeah.
So I actually like give away more crystals than I keep. Like, there's a lot of people that I've met who my crystal just chooses them.
Yeah.
So anyway, before we get out of here, let me get back on, let me finish out this topic with the universal basic income. Like, if you look at what's happening in China, then you can kind of see what's happening, like what's going to happen over here. And if you just look at, have y'all heard of 10-minute cities? Okay. So, I'm putting this comment. So the first topic and the second topic are directly connected, but I'm going to speak how they're connected in this way. Universal basic income is going to be allotted to people that it's going to be some type of good standing. Either you're going to have to be jabbed or something to get this, like,
your credit score good.
Yes.
You paid off all your student loans.
Exactly. And you're only going to be able to use a certain amount of cash or whatever per day, right? And they're going to want all your cash. They want you to turn in all your cash. That's going to be first and foremost, right? And so if let's say your wages are garnished for whatever reason, you said something online, boom, they take your money away, and now you're on a travel ban. So if you try to leave your sector, I don't know if they're going to call it sectors or what they call it in the Hunger Games, whatever. Districts, yeah. They're going to split us up in some way. They've already tried it a couple of times. A couple different bills have been put into play, especially here in California, where they wanted to split up California into 5 different states. Yeah. So that it's coming in some way, shape, or form, right? And the 15-minute cities, not to instill fear in anybody, just to be aware, the 15-minute cities are going to be where these checkpoints are going to be controlled by AI bots. And the AI bots, they like their eyes are going to be like the eyes of cameras. So they'll be able to look at you and they'll say your name, your everything about you, your the amount that you have and your universal basic income, your ledger, like everything will pop up right there. So if you're not supposed to be out, if you're on a travel ban because you said something negative online, guess what? The AI bot's not going to let you leave your district or your sector. And I truly believe that that type of control is coming.
So what are the
And
options for the people, the non-compliance sect?
buy
Like for
land,
us.
yeah, buy land. Thankfully, I already have land, but if you know don't have land, buy land um, somewhere in the country. Off, learn how to live off grid again. Learn how to germinate seed. Learn. If you can, let's just say this: if you can go into the woods and survive for 3 days, you're good. If you're already looking for an Uber on your first day back, you're gonna need some work. You're gonna need some work. Um,
Imagine they're like an hour in, they're like, I can't do it. There are bugs.
And even if, let's say you're somebody where you're like a manifesting generator, right? Where you don't have to do anything, stuff just appears in your life. If you're a manifesting generator, you can literally just sit back, watch shows like Alone, Survivor, watch these type of shows, and you'll just download it. Like you'll just know how to do it. Some people can just, you just show them how to do something and then they'll just know how to do it, right? So if you're one of those people that can just download how to do something, the know-how instantaneously, then watch these shows, learn how to survive through these shows, and then do some practicing. What I did in Detroit before I left was for one weekend, I went with no lights. I got candles and I just navigated around my apartment with no lights. And at first I was like, this is dumb. I'm just about to turn on my lights. But I was like, oh shit, no, that's what no, so I had to go against that. I had to go against my own programming and realize that that was my programming, that I immediately wanted to turn on my lights. So I was like, okay, I have some work to do. So me doing that experiment let me know that this is how I would survive on a weekend with no lights. But if this shit goes down the way it wants to go down, it's not gonna be for a weekend. It's gonna be for several, many weekends.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the reason why I'm saying this over and over again, y'all. Like, just be prepared because Fed Now is coming next month, like less than 20 days. Fed Now is coming. Okay. My birthday is also in about 21 days. Anyway, um, what that means is that something is going to happen before Fed Now comes, that it's going to be some type of cyber attack, some type of another pipeline attack, right? Or some type of major grid. It's going to, yeah, cyber attack that leads to a grid shutdown, right? And it's going to lead to some type of collapse. Like, just look out for something to happen. Probably has to deal with water because of the astrological alignments, and that's what they use. But you can already, I mean, just be prepared because they have been warning y'all for a while now that a blackout is imminent. Um, so,
Yeah.
they're not just saying that to say it.
Do you think it will correlate with their fake alien invasion? Like, will it somehow be interconnected somehow?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold up.
What?
Mar, for real? Mar says, listen, hospital systems were down this week for hours.
Wow.
Yes. So
Where?
yes, I def see something coming soon. Where was that, Mar? She's probably in New Jersey.
Okay.
Um, that's huge. That's huge. Wow. That's an important piece of information that we probably would have been privy to. Oh, Florida.
Florida.
Wow, they would have been privy to if you didn't let us know. So if hospital systems are going down, okay. Um,
How many people rely on the electricity to stay alive in the hospital?
right. Just okay, think about this too, right? If if your grid does go down in your area, the food in the grocery stores around you will go bad as well. I remember not so long ago, the systems went down in Detroit, and my both of the grocery stores that I went to locally had to throw like 90% of their food away. I'm guessing that number 90%, but the woman said like pretty much everything. So yeah, so if the systems go down, just imagine um, how much. Ooh, I don't even want to. I don't even want to say it because it's no way to say it without sounding like fear.
But
You know, some type of fear.
that also ties into, what about the people
Hmm.
who are preparing, the preparers who have freezers and they have
Hmm.
all this excess food in their freezer? That's going to go bad. So it's like
Exactly.
learning how to can, learning how to
Hmm.
preserve the natural way. We're being forced, you guys,
Hmm.
to go back to the very simplistic way to which humanity was living. That's the only way we'll be able
Yeah.
to survive anything catastrophic, because we
Hmm.
won't have the luxuries to rely on.
Exactly. That's that is beautifully said. That's that's the best to get back to basics. B to B. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, that's how our ancestors survived.
Yeah.
They didn't need all of they didn't need a GPS. They knew. They looked at the stars and they knew the
Yes.
direction they were going, you know?
Yes.
Like they picked up the soil and they knew the season,
Yes.
you know? The soil tells you that, you know?
They killed meat.
Um,
They
yeah,
salted the meat to
yeah.
preserve the meat. Do you guys know how to, you meat eaters, do you know how to preserve your meat to keep it
Let's
long?
talk about that because there's this huge belief that um and this might be controversial, but there's this huge belief that melanated people aren't supposed to eat meat. Now I'm not saying that we are. I'm not saying that we aren't. I'm just saying what history says. History shows that there are not any fourth generation plant-based eaters, which means that our ancestors, like you said, they hunted and gathered their food. They didn't live off grass and plants.
So,
They lived off.
ooh,
Man, go ahead.
okay. So I was speaking to a Kenyan,
Hmm.
because Kenyans, the way they eat meat, I'm like, that's close to, like, that's not how we eat it. We season it with herbs and things because we're like, ew, like we're trying to taste more of the plants. But
Hmm.
Kenyans migrated. So how were they going to survive? They had to catch their meat
Hmm.
and they had to learn how to preserve it, and they
Hmm.
had to learn how to barbecue it, so just heat it over fire quickly, eat and go. So kind of like what do you call that? Like those beef, those jerkies.
Yeah.
They learned how to do that with their food so that they had meat as they migrated.
Hmm.
Remember, they're coming from Kemet, they're coming from Nubia, like they are like movers. So before
Exactly.
that, when you're sedentary, when you're stuck in one place,
Hmm.
it makes more sense for you to eat fruits and eat the things that are around you. And
Hmm.
in ancient times, before we started to move, we were 100%, I believe, 100% plant and herbivores.
Hmm.
But when we had to travel, we had to
Hmm.
survive. We had to learn how to catch the things that were around us,
Hmm.
and you see different tribes in, I only have spoken to people in Africa, but like different tribes in Africa eat different. Their eating habits are different, vastly different. And that's based on their history and where they had to migrate and how they you know?
Yes. I'm so glad that you just said that because, oh Lord, I thought we were about to get out of here, but listen, let me tell you
I'm
something real
sorry.
quick. No, you just put a rabbit hole there, and I like rabbit holes, so I'm about to go swimming. Um, okay, so the main belief, and rest in peace to Dr. Sebi for everything that he did. That man was a wow
He's an angel.
prophet,
Yeah.
an angel, but
Yes.
seriously, an angel.
Yes.
Heal blindness, you know. So his main thing does work for the melanated, you know, being in general, like no matter where you're from.
And Dr.
But
Africa.
yes, but one thing that he said that was important is that you have to eat for your surroundings,
Yes.
and
Yes.
the belief is that we all came from Africa. And I don't actually subscribe to that belief because that's like the first thing that they teach you in school, that you come from Africa, you were slaves, right?
Okay,
And if they
not
teach you
that
this,
belief. I understand. Like, sorry to cut you, but when, you know, like going back to your lessons, when the Earth was more joined, it was one landmass. It's still kind of, but like, you know, the breaking and the plates moving, we were all from the same region. There's no like over there, them over there. We were all one. So can we
I'm
talk to
starting
that?
I'm starting not to believe in pain. I don't know. Like let me dig deeper before I say this,
Okay.
but there's a lot of things that aren't adding up with Pangea. Especially since Pangea is one of the first things they teach us as well. So let me dig deeper on Pangea,
Okay.
but I will say that not all of us came from Africa. There's a lot of us that are from this land. This land right here is ancient. They teach you that the cradle of life, it comes from Africa. The more that I research and the more that I download and the more that I connect with my guys that's giving me this information, the more that I see that that's not the case. Well, first of all, you know, we can talk about where your avatars come from, and then where your soul comes from is a completely different story. Let's just keep that in the mind. Okay.
Yes.
But this 3D avatar that's living this, you know, this story of this, you know, human, that's talking about where this body comes from is from America. Because this land is extremely ancient, very, very, very ancient. It's the reason why I believe they blew this shit up out of the Grand Canyon. It's not a natural formation. Something was there and they destroyed it. Okay. And there's just a lot of history here. So if you're eating for your surroundings, then we would have to eat, you know, a lot of us, our bloodlines come from here. We would have to eat for America and the stuff that is here. So, and also eating for your blood type's a whole different thing, but eating for your surroundings, it doesn't, so I wouldn't have the same type of eating regimen as somebody from Kenya, or as somebody from, you know, African, you know, country, you know, Niger or whatever. Even the names, those African country names were.
Well, Nigeria isn't a real country. You know that, right?
Yeah. It's
put
like,
together.
I'm trying not to go down that hole.
I know,
there's
so much.
I don't know.
There's
like,
so
this
much.
Is actually what my human avatar has a degree in. So I had to go to school to learn this stuff. And a lot of the stuff that I learned, me and my professor actually sat after school and was like, you know, this is bullshit, right? So there's a lot of rhetoric that happens in the schooling system that talks about where we come from. That's actually not the truth. The main thing they teach you as a Black history major is you come from Africa, you come from Africa. Don't forget you come from Africa. And I'm just like,
and even the Black history, that it's like, you know, call it that whole label, putting you in that box of like you're Black. So you start to behave like that label.
Exactly. And like my sister's, you know, she was in a Peace Corps, so she spent a couple years in Benin, and some experiences that she was telling me about was like damn near like, well, hers the way she described it was racist. Like,
wow,
she even got called the M, like in hard R. I'm like, by a African? isn't that like the pot calling the kettle black? Like, what the hell? So it's like
But it makes sense,
there's
right? Because that's the divide and conquer. If you get each
exactly,
other to hate each other, then
exactly,
the controllers win.
exactly. Like if you take a non-melanated person from Italy and then from Poland, they're going to be completely different. So why do people think that all like
Facts.
why do like aren't you
Mm-hmm.
supposed to act like an African and go back to Africa? It's like where would I even go, bro? Like, could you point me?
Yeah,
Because I'm not from there, you know.
exactly.
So yeah. So that in itself creates a something that we never spoke about, and I actually never heard it until I'm about to say it right now. But there's a whole class system that is created between people here, us
Yeah.
melanated beings in America, and
Yes.
Africans. Like, but it was conditioned because they come over from Africa and like they have their nose. And I'm not, listen, this isn't to generalize everybody. So I'm only speaking on some of the people I had encounters with because that's all I'm able to speak about, right? So the people that I've had encounters with that are from, that continent, it's like besides the ones I've had really good connections with, right? Some of them have their nose turned up, and it's the same attitude as white people.
And that's the memo they're given before they get here, right? Because they come in, and you will see when they come into like America, Canada, or whatever, they come with an agenda and they get their shit done and they're out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they don't understand because they're not given the full history to why, like, say, Americans are not succeeding.
Yeah.
They don't go to the ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see the prison to, the school to prison pipeline. They don't see the drugs that were handed off and given to that group of humans. They don't see it. They don't know none of that. They just know what they were briefed on, given, and they head down, focus, they make their money, they rise up, and they're out. And it's a clear example of how we are all being played against
Mm-hmm.
each other. And
Mm-hmm.
when this is what, we could demonize social media as much as we want because it does have some negative aspects about it, but it allows us to learn. It allows us to hear things and thoughts and new concepts and then go look it up further if we so
Mm-hmm.
choose and
Mm-hmm.
expand and open our brains and be like, oh my God, wow, shit, yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
am a part of the problem. Oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
I have been pitted against my earth brother. We're not from the same continent. I'm from over
Yeah.
here, they're from over there, and they should be able to explore being from America. And it's so deep. It's so deep, Astro.
And part of the problem here is that our identity was stolen
Yes,
because they teach you, okay, you're a slave. But then when you start to do the research, you're like, I'm not from there. And if being from someplace, how do you consider where you're from? How many generations? So it's like even if we were from there, which we're not, but even if we were from there, it's like how many of our generations were here already? So we would still be from here. So
exactly.
um,
Exactly.
yeah, and since we're taught that we're from there, and we're not actually told that this is our land, because this is our land that we once ruled. They tell you that the actual natives from this land look like straight hair, like people from Mexico, because they're the same people. You can do the research; they're the same people. So they telling you that the original inhabitants of this land are like Native Americans, and that's not the case.
No,
The real native inhabitants of this land,
is you.
and tracing back as far as when we started to inhabit this land, it looked like us. So they don't. That's one thing they never want you to know. So all of it, like the Trail of Tears, like the taking you from this land and then bringing you back to this land and then telling
Yeah.
you that you're not from this land. That whole thing was strategic, right?
Yeah.
So that's why they never tell you about the artifact. Like they'll tell you about artifacts that they find over in Egypt and all that stuff. They'll never tell you about the artifacts they find over here, because the deeper that they dig over here, they keep finding us. Um, yeah.
Well,
So
The
California,
Olmecs head
huh?
alone,
Yeah.
and that's a tip of the iceberg. But I'm like, are you serious? How do you explain that? Someone try.
Yes. Well, the Olmec's head, as far as you can trace it back, can be traced back to a civilization coming from West Africa, and you can distinctly see that with the bridges of their
Mm-hmm.
noses, because they're even like you can tell like I can tell like I'll just call it an African American, even though I don't like to refer to us as that. But you can tell African American. I can look
Yeah.
at your nose and be like, "Oh, you from here? You my people." And then you can tell somebody that's from over there because their noses are different. Like even if somebody that's from Brazil, like we're all melanated, but we're not the same at all. We're like you can our features are sometimes formed by the energy of the land that we're on, right? Or in
Absolutely.
just your
I
DNA
love
code
that
in
you
general.
just said that
Yeah.
because you'll look at a Jamaican.
Hmm.
I'm a Jamaican,
Hmm.
and you look at a Chinese and a white Jamaican. We
Hmm.
all look the same. It's the wildest thing.
Mm,
But that's, as you
mm,
just said, it's the energy of the land that you all are embodying.
yes, I'm telling you, you can like because if you look at my grandma, like if even if you start to look at your history and like my grandma, like you can tell me that none of my family is from over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, but going back, okay, so going back to what I was saying with the um Olmecs. So the Olmecs came from West Africa, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
you can tell that they came and they started to build,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the I was just watching I think it was Frank Joseph, and he was talking about how the Olmecs don't build these huge illustrious heads for like slaves, right? Even today, like when you build statues for royalty, so those
Yes.
Olmecs heads were left for for royalty.
Yeah.
That lets you know that people that look like us had free will to come over here and rule during that time. But the Olmecs came over here and they had to check in with the people that was already over here, and that was us.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't come over here and just have free range to build. They had to come and get permission. They were trading and bartering with us
Mm-hmm.
that was already over here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they don't tell you about. The mounds were already built from us that were already over here. That is how we buried. That was our burial ritual. So the way that we bury our ancestors, or our ancestors now is, how we pay for a funeral. We put them in a box. We cry.
Ridiculous.
That wasn't how we did it.
Yeah.
We had rituals where we had mounds and we put them back into the earth in a very sacred way, like royalty that we just don't do now. So
Mm-hmm.
that lets you know that just how okay, so that's a prime example of how we're the same color but we're not the same, because the pyramids in Mexico look completely different from the pyramids in Kentucky. The pyramids
Yes.
in Kentucky look different from the pyramids in California, and the ones in Chicago look different from the ones in Philadelphia, right? So it lets you know that these pyramid builders, their signature of who they were, their identity was left in a large part in these pyramids and in these underground systems, which we know nothing about. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, that was their way of connecting to the Most High. That was their, in a way, that was their Tower of Babel.
Mm-hmm.
That was their way of connecting to like what they gave praise to, and they gave praise to what gave them life, and what gave them life was the sun. So that's why when you look on everything that's Olmecian, that's Lumerian, Atlantean, whatever, you will find that their main central thing of praise was always the sun,
The life giver.
always.
Yes. Yes. And
Yes.
there's nothing for any Christians in the chat. There's nothing evil about the sun. You need the sun to stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
If the sun if something catastrophic and celestial was to happen and the sun was ripped out of our field of, I don't even know, because it's in our, it's under the dome with us.
Yeah, I
But
was
if
just about to
something
say that.
happened
Yeah.
to delete the sun, we go bye-bye.
Hmm.
And like, it's crazy. I saw a diagram. I don't know like what account I was on, but I saw a diagram of a flat earth and all of like the ice wall. It was like computer generated. It was so well done. And then the way the sun moved, so it had all the planet, the lands, the ice wall and the lands within the ice wall, and then it had the North Pole, South Pole, and the equator, and it had the sun moving this way, and then it had the moon. And I'll find it and send it to you, because I was like, that's what I see. That makes so much sense to my consciousness,
Yes.
you know. And yeah,
There was a video I posted the other day where these they shot another rocket up to the firmament and it hit the firmament and bounced off. But
serious.
yeah, but when it's spinning, you can see, or wait, was it that video? Somebody released a video. No, okay, it was a time lapse on TikTok. Somebody released a video of a time lapse, and you can see the sun as it's spinning,
Yeah,
and then you can see the moon follow it,
yeah.
and then like 2 seconds later, you see another moon, and I had to rewind it. I'm like, so clearly in this time lapse, you can see that there are two satellites up there, right?
Yes.
So that lets you know. Think about this. This might be a rabbit hole. Hopefully, you guys understand. But the moon is related to birth, bringing in souls through the matrix. So if they're saying that we're overpopulated and it's too much bandwidth, and you need more bandwidth to bring in more souls, and the moon is responsible for bringing in souls, that means you would need another moon to bring in more souls. Because remember, there was a time when we had no moon at all. We don't need a moon at all to survive, to
Yeah,
live. It can, the moon can go right now. We wouldn't even
yeah.
notice. We would notice because we would start to grow taller. We would start to
And
a lot
women,
of
they
positive
tied
things.
women's, the matrix, the entry into this dimension, they tied it to our womb. So before that, yeah, we didn't
Hello.
need that. We didn't need that. It's like, it's in a way it's beautiful, but in a way it's like an enslavement. We're enslaved to it because it controls our 28-day moon cycle, which
Yeah.
allow us to open up and be the portal.
And for women, I got four sisters, so I already know.
Yeah, yeah.
But your flow come how many? It comes
Every
every how
28
many
days.
days?
28. The moon, exactly as the moon. Yeah.
Come
And
on, man.
that's if you're regular. There's some people that, you know, that they're irregular based
Yeah.
on just bad health and the foods that they're consuming and things of that nature. But generally, a woman's moon cycle is 28 days. Right?
Yes. So there are points where you can bring in more souls. I did a video on this. You know, when the moon is all charged up, you can bring in more souls. You're more look at if you look at your. You know, I don't advise you to track your cycle on any app ever.
No, I removed all of them. Do not
Yeah,
do it. No.
yeah. But if you know, if you were to track your natural whatever with the cycles of the moon, you would start to realize a lot about the moon and the flow of life and how beings enter and exit this matrix. Because you're like, wait a minute, why is it when the moon hits the waxing gibbous, I notice that my whatever does this certain thing. Why is it when it's a full moon in Libra, right? So notice the signs, notice the phases, and your body will start to react because women are way more connected to the the energy, right, of this matrix, because they're the only ones that can bring in life, right? So women, y'all are, that's why a woman intuition is a real thing, because the moon intuition, right? So y'all are able to, just like cats, right? Like I always connect women with
Yes.
cats, right? Because women protect you in the spiritual realm.
Yes, and cats.
So
Yes.
yes. So this is why a woman is able to know things before a man can. Like she just knows things, right? Like you just know when your child's in trouble, you know, like whatever. Like a woman will ask you a question she already knows the answer to, and as a man, you just like, this is a setup. Should I just lie or should you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So and just tell the truth, fellas.
Just tell the
But
truth. And the fact
yeah.
that the woman, her womb, has the
Hmm.
mitochondria DNA, which is
Hmm.
all of her Earth's history. So it's
Exactly.
passed down. The man has it too when, like when he's born through the woman's womb, but
Hmm.
he can't pass it on. It's passed on through the woman. Yo, that's like
Exactly.
that. It's the
This is why your child just knows things when they get out of the womb, because that
yes,
placenta is holding their download,
yes.
it's holding their settings from their last life.
Look at
Like
all those
when it's, I'm
those
telling you,
tentacles, right, of the placenta. It looks like
yes,
electricity. Sorry to cut you, Phil.
exactly. No, you cooking, because that's true. It is, because that is the effects of the electromagnetic field, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
women are extremely sensitive to electromagnetic fields, just
Yes.
like cats, right?
Mm.
So when you are bringing in your baby, you're those first few months, you just have a vessel, you just have the soul's not in there yet, so you're building up that. Like you're getting the download ready, like the pod ready, if you will,
Yes.
for the being that you're
Love that.
bringing into fruition. Because on the energy, on the in another realm, y'all have already connected. Y'all have already made this contract. I'm coming in through you,
Yep.
right? I'm going to teach you things. You're going to teach me things, right? So you're getting that sack ready with their memory, their astral memory. So when they come in, they're connected to the placenta that's already have their download, their settings ready, right? And that's allocated to that woman. Just how, like, okay, so the way that you are uniquely you and nobody else could ever be you is because your natal chart's the way it is. It's because nobody else was born at the same time, the same second, the same energetic spot, location.
Yes.
Like everything that you were born with, your matrix entry time code
Yes.
made who you are, gave your DNA the code to make your eyes the way, the size, your eyebrows, the shape, everything was you had to incarnate at the time that you did. So even if you like your core was wrapped around your neck and your birth was held back and all that stuff, everything was planned. You had to come out for you to be the way that you are, for
Your
you to
creator's like, nah, it's not time yet. Hold on.
I'm telling you, it's like everything in this matrix is, when you look at it, it's like holy shit, everything is precision, like
Yes. Yes.
like
Mm-hmm.
math. The
Mm-hmm.
way that their pyramids are, like, yes, a man could have done that, but it makes me think, like, was a computer done to do this? Did they use AI to do this? Because even when you look at the ancient depictions of let's call them the mystery travelers, right? These mystery travelers that just so happen to show up on every continent with the same
Right,
stuff.
right. Like, are you talking about Toast, the Atlantis?
Just like if you watch the Eternals, Marvel's
Yeah.
Eternals. That movie is highly slept on. If you don't understand the message in that movie,
Actually,
you're
read it
not
again.
watching with this eye. Yeah, watch the Eternals, because the story that's in the Eternals, like Icarus flew too close to the sun. I was like, this is poetry. They the fact that they put this in this film. Anyway, that film is they
Let me
cooked.
write it down so I don't
But
forget.
yeah, but let's just say that um damn, what was I talking about before that?
Going back, so like, oh shit.
Sorry, I'm gonna get it. Yeah, okay. So if you watch the Eternals, you can see that the message was clear, which lined up perfectly with the story that they were showing you with these ancient depictions, that these travelers, like in the Eternals, I think it's like 7 of them that showed up on every continent.
Right.
And the Eternals was showing you like, should we get involved? Should we like go ahead and give them this invention to go ahead and speed up their process? Like, no,
Right.
let them learn on their own, right? So the Eternals, they had the technology to go ahead and advance technology at their will. So when you look at what's actually happened in our reality, you can see that when people draw like these Sumerians or these ancient visitors, they
Like the
show them
crop
with like a
circle that just
watch.
recently showed up again, like the recent crop circle.
Yeah, the crops.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that one.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, but you can see that these travelers had watches